If you click on this video, you might be thinking, what the heck is product intuition? Why do you have more say about the product than all the other folks in the company? Where I'm going to share with you my experience and some tips from my learning as the head of PLG growth. Hey, it's Gary, 3 times head of growth. Today, I'm going to talk to you about influencing with product intuition. Well, what is product intuition? Well, the product intuition is really just the ability to make informed decisions about your product development and just having strategies backed by just having a good understanding of the user behavior, the market trends, what the customer needs. It's not about having more say than others in the company. Well, other people might feel that way, but really using and leveraging insights to help you guide and how to make your product decisions more effective. So when we launched our PLG motion in December 2022, we had a mix of people involved. There was the head of design working on improving the experience. We had an engineer, we had a product marketer, we had sales folks on the PLG team. We had to juggle different approaches, but our main focus was just to launch it, get it out there, and let the world see and see what happens from there. And of course, the engineering design team, they want to make sure that the product is very polished and it makes sense. And based on the current sales-led experience, that might not be, there might be some conflicts there. And of course, meanwhile, the salespeople are like, okay, then what the heck does product-led experience mean? And what's our role if if it's not a sales-led motion? So first, you got to balance your team's perspective, and you're getting all the input from various folks on your PLG team. And you also have to remind your team to overcome becoming a perfectionist. And basically, like, you don't have to make sure that the product is super polished before launch. I use the quote from Reid Hoffman: if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you're launched too late. And constantly reminding the team, hey, if you're not embarrassed, then you're launching too late. And so that we can get that momentum going, letting the world and letting the customers experience it. And of course, the sales team is going to be uncertain on where they sit in this product-led motion. Just continue to build that relationship with them, and that will define those roles for them slowly as we have this experience launch. And a large part of that product intuition is making sure that we are capturing data and observing our customers and understanding their behavior. So from a high level, we can say, hey, let's look at the data. Let's look at how people click on the product. But the reality is that if you're just starting out, most people don't know how to use your product. So you're just getting all these rage clicks, basically. And they don't understand your information hierarchy, your user experience. They don't know how to make progress into the user journey. And it's not like you're announcing how to activate or where the aha moment is, right? And so you want to make sure that all the customers are reaching the aha moment. And how do you do that with your product? So the big aspect of product intuition is just capturing that data. And so observing customer calls, understand how they interact with your product, recognizing some of those limits, and understanding and accepting that most new users, they're not going to totally understand how to use your product yet, because you're still iterating on how to guide them through it. And you got to make sure identifying the aha moment, and that majority of the customers can reach that and they can understand the product value. So we decided to launch the superhuman onboarding process. There was a lot of pushback. People were saying, why are we using sales team? Why are we building a sales assisted motion? It feels like we're spending a lot of time and more calls. And we're doing all of this on free customers. This just doesn't make sense. So we got a lot of pushback on that. And I was able to explain the process that we just have to learn. We have to launch it, be embarrassed, and just iterate from there. There's a lot of things we just don't know about our product and how people are going to react to it. And with the backing of the VP of product and the CEO, we were able to move forward with the superhuman onboarding calls. So in these onboarding calls, we're seeing how users are interacting with the product, and we're observing their behavior. We don't have enough data yet because we just started. So the data and analyzing that is not really a concept. We're just observing and using our gut intuition. And so as we're observing how our users are interacting with the product, the questions that they have, the objections, it really grounds our product team. It really grounded them in whether it was the designer, the engineer, the salesperson, and the marketing person. We just don't know in the beginning. And that, of course, that made the whole team lose confidence. But we needed to recognize that, and we need to have our ego set in place, that thinking, oh, if we launch, they would come. That's not necessarily the case. There was a lot of things that we didn't know about the product experience from the customer's perspective. Was it obvious? Did it make sense? And in our experience, it was not dummy proof. It wasn't very clear whether the user needed to click on certain features. The verbiage of compliance didn't really make sense. The words that we use for compliance in our product, it was just not very clear for someone that's new to the topic, and the information hierarchy was also not very crystal clear as well. So customers often ask, like, what do I do next? What does this mean? What do I click now? How do I know it works? And there's just flood of these types of questions. So to influence the team, I needed to make sure that I'm gathering all those customers' objections, customers' questions. And part of it is humbling for the team, for my team, and to extent because not everyone is customer facing. So they're only seeing from afar, like, why doesn't it work? Why are people not using? It's so straightforward to us. It's so simple. They just need to click this and that. But when our engineering team and design team hop on these calls, they can see, oh, wow, our product is really not up to par, or our messaging and our positioning is not ready yet. And we really need to give more guidance on how to redirect our users. And that's where the product intuition comes in. It's taking all those signals that we first gather, and we're starting to navigate that and influencing the internal team. And we're using those signals and learnings for me to give direction. And that direction means preparing answers for some of those objections, using those onboarding calls as evidence to simplify our user experience and improving that, and just messaging our designer and saying, hey, we should take a look at this because people are questioning this or confused about how to use the product. And now I'm using those insights, I'm owning the product roadmap, and I'm directing the traffic and making sure our team is making the product better and better for our customers. Follow me on growthwithgary.com, or feel free to subscribe here to learn more about how to execute PLG, lead and operate and launch and be successful in SaaS.